Saa ingine mimi nashanganga. Hii National Prayer Breakfast inakuanga ya kazi gani? Ni kwa sababu mimi naonanga ni kama ni ya kumoku Mungu ama ya kudhalilisha Mungu. Wale wanasiasa wanaendanga pale, unaona pale wanakaa yani wamenyenyekea, watakatifu, wanaimba nyimbo za Mungu wakilia, vile wanajifanya wazuri, Deputy Jesus, wanaomba msamaha. Wana present pale mbele worship wakilia. Ilali huku wanakimbia na magunia zimejaa pesa za kuiba. Na watu wanalia kwa hospitali, hawana dawa. Abductions zimekuwa mingi. Mauaji yamekuwa mengi. Wale wanasiasa wanatembea na magunzi kwa mkutano zao zote. Ukiwakosoa wanakukujia wewe, wanakuumiza. Na wale wanajifanya ati wao ndio wanajua hiyo kuomba. Wacheni kupima Mungu. Wacheni kudanganya watu. Watu si wajinga. Hiyo kitu inafaa ikansoliwe, itolewe hapo. Yes.
Any apologies must come with reparations for the families of the affected, for those comrades who still have injuries, bullet wounds, fractures, and everything else. And consequences for the perpetrators, and not just the frontline perpetrators. Those who gave orders for comrades to be shot. Those who gave orders for comrades to be abducted and tortured must be brought to book. They must face the full force of the rule of law.
Nimeona rais kwa ile National Prayer Breakfast leo akisema anaomba msamaha majenzi na Wakenya kwa jumla wamsamehe. Nataka nimwambie hivi, ile msamaha watu wanaweza msamea. Ni tu kuomba, ni kuresign peke yake. Hakuna kitu kingine. Ile msamaha anaweza omba Wakenya wamsikize ni kuresign. Ile msamaha anaweza taka kila mtu wamsikize ni kusema ameachana hiyo kiti ya urais na ameresign. Lakini hakuna kitu kingine Wakenya watamsikiza. Hakuna msamaha inaweza sikizwa.
What Gen Z is dying, and I'm talking because I have Gen Zs. They're dying to be loved. They're dying for a seat at the table. They're dying to be respected. Suggest to you, when we're talking about relationships and we're talking about really rebuilding relationships, wouldn't it be beautiful if leaders would stand up and say to our Gen Zs, we had you arrested, and we know that had to be traumatizing, and we're sorry. We shut down the internet, and we know that that's your primary source of communication, and we're sorry. Now we want to bring you to the table so that you can have a voice, because you're no longer a child. You're an adult. And we want to begin to say, how do we begin to treat you like an adult? You can refer to me as Marty. That's my name. You are a man now. I expect you to act like a man. And that's what our Gen Zers are crying for. They're crying for the right to be adults, because they are. They've gone to college. They're buying their own house. They're getting married. They're adults. And I want to encourage you even here today, Kenya. I challenge you that when we start talking about rebuilding relationships, then the question is, how do we begin to rebuild the relationships with our Gen Zers? Because they love you, they care for you, they respect you, but they don't feel respected. You know, I have children. I have 5 children, 4 boys and 1 girl. What's fortunate is my 1 girl can beat up all of her brothers, but I have 5 children. And I remember last year coming to the prayer breakfast. And when my brother Earl and I got back home, we saw the Gen Z's frustration. And Earl asked, Rick, what do you think the problem is? What Gen Z is dying, and I'm talking because I have Gen Zs. They're dying to be loved. They're dying for a seat at the table. They're dying to be respected. And I won't ever forget when my boys were growing up, because sometimes as parents, we want our children to stay children all of their lives. But that's not the case with Gen Zers. Gen Zers have grown up, they've gone to college. Some of our Gen Zers are smarter than we are. I have a daughter, she's a doctor. Whenever I need advice on my health, I don't go to a hospital, I call my daughter. Whenever I want to invest my money, I don't go in and go to a bank, I call my son Caleb. When I need counseling and when I need therapy, no, I don't go to a psychologist, I go to my son Micah. Because all of my children have grown up, and they're no longer children. They're adults. And I had to learn to treat them like adults. And so when they graduated from college, I took each of them out to dinner, and I gave them a kiss. And I said, you are now an adult. I expect you to make decisions like an adult. I don't have to go and live anywhere in your neighborhood. None of my kids live within 1,000 miles of where I live. But they all act like adults. And one of the most frustrating things that could happen to a Gen Zer is that you keep treating them like a child. And I got to tell you, I started praying for Kenya. Because, I work with young people, I mentor young people. I understand a little bit about their minds. And one of the things I prayed for is I said, here's my prayer. I said, Lord, I pray the adults would apologize to our Gen Zers. I pray, it's like African Americans. We live in America, but a lot of times we don't feel respected. And people ask, why is there always a race issue in America? I can tell you why. Because no one's ever apologized. No one's ever said, I'm sorry for the horrific pain that you experienced. They've never done it in our history in this country. And I just want to suggest to you, when we're talking about relationships and we're talking about really rebuilding relationships, wouldn't it be beautiful if leaders would stand up and say to our Gen Zs, we had you arrested. And we know that had to be traumatizing. And we're sorry. We shut down the internet. And we know that that's your primary source of communication.
Unaamka unapata traffic asubuhi. Ukiulizia unaambiwa I am not a madman, na vimadman vizake vidogo vimeenda kuombea wananchi State House. Yani mwaribu education, mwaribu health sector, mwaribu kila kitu. Yani mbweha anaenda kuombea kondoo. Mulisikia wapi? Mbweha anaenda kuombea kondoo. Hakuje zaidi, kondoo ikuje karibu, iumwe zaidi, ikulwe zaidi. Na una apologize, I'm very sorry. Why are you apologizing? Na mtu anaanza ku apologize ukistate, what have you done? Nini umefanyia watu wenye unataka unaomba msamaha? Why are you apologizing? What do you want to be forgiven for doing? Stop giving us nonsense of apology. Take those apologies to State House. We do not need them. You're praying for forgiveness. Shinanigan mpeleke na huko.
Kingdom is fine. I thought I saw Jeff Ian somewhere. Ametakulezea. Ulikomenda prayer breakfast. Nimeacha mnaombea Gen Z waache kutumia X. Mwa. Ngaiwa te. Lord help this country. I'll tell you the truth. Yani, you sit down, you look at everything that could be wrong with this country, and you decide the internet is the devil. You understand? It's the same way when your child used to fall down and then they were tripped by the chair. Ulikuwa unaona mama anachapa kiti. Ati hii kiti imetega baba kaanguka. Kiti mbaya. It's the same thing. The chair was just sitting. Meanwhile, the internet is not the problem. The internet is not the problem. The internet is a tool. You cannot treat symptoms. You have to go to the root cause if we're going to rise and rebuild, which is the theme of this year's prayer breakfast. Ama tukansolio siku inakwanga kwenda kukunywa chai na mandazi ya taxpayer. I said what I said. It's true. We're killing spirituality by fire by force. At the end of the day, if we're going to just come and just put lipstick on a swine. I just been reading comments. I just been looking. I'm like, maybe I should not have come to work today.
Luchivia,
Ndio.
labda hujui ni nani utapigia kura in 2027.
Yes.
Lakini ile kitu muhimu zaidi
Ndio.
ni kwamba ujue yule mwenye hautapigia kura.
Yes.
Are we together?
Uh-huh.
You may not know who you will vote for in 2027.
Yes.
But it is important to know who you will not vote for in 2027.
Hey.
The best way for Kenyans to vote in 2027 is two ways. One, don't vote for anybody who did not deliver when it came to their manifesto. Number two, do not vote for anybody who had any previous corruption cases. For example, when it comes to Sakaja, the current Nairobi governor wants to run for a second term. Now, I will be damned if I vote for Sakaja considering just one part of the manifesto, which is roads. He said that he will fix roads and he will fix drainage and water will be distributed to different parts of Nairobi. He said this and he has not delivered. Nairobi to go 2025, we are almost at the half of the year and the roads are flooding insanely even if it rains just a little bit. So what logic would someone be using if they vote for Sakaja for the second time? What logic would somebody be using if they vote for Pasaris, who is definitely probably going to run again for Nairobi women rep, and she has not been proactive in talking about like femicide cases and protecting women, which is her job in parliament. If we just focus on those two things, not voting for anybody who had any corruption case and not voting for anybody who has messed up their manifesto, I feel like Kenyans would be really, really far. Instead of focusing on voting for somebody because of their tribe, because they paid you 200 shillings, because you are voting for them just so that they can remove somebody else and you hope that they are going to do something better, please, I think it's time that we remove ourselves from the situation. And also to the Kenyan youth, we are the majority. When you look at people who are 35 and under, we are the majority when it comes to the population. By 2027, let's say all of us will be adult status and all of us can get a voter's ID and actually vote. I am really, really, really encouraging people to register to vote when that time comes. Let's not vote for people because of any other reason except those two. Let's be logical this time, please. Like, our lives depend on it.
Kwani wewe utakubali upige kura mtu aibe? Wewe kama Mkenya mwenye unateseka as we speak now, utakubali uende upige kura 2027 alafu mtu achukue aongeze rais? Kwa sababu anatuambia kwamba hakuna rais ashawahi kuwa one term president. Sasa wanasema hata kama rais hatapita, watachukua kidogo kidogo kutoka kwa zile zetu waongeze rais apite. Kwani wewe kama Mkenya who are going through a very difficult times as we speak now, are you going to allow people to steal your elections? Kwani tutakuwa wajinga aina gani? Tutakuwa wajinga aina gani turuhusu watu waibe kura zetu yenye tumepiga na venye sisi tunateseka saa hii? Atuwaibe waongeze yule mwingine apate aingie kama rais. Kwani sisi tutakuwa wajinga aina gani? Si wajinga walisha Kenya. Sasa itakuwa aje mtu atuibie kura zetu?
Wakiiba itaungua. That is the truth of the matter.
No way.
That wakiiba, just like his agents have said that, you know, watajaza. The truth of the matter is wametuibia kutosha, wameiba pesa zetu za kutosha, wametuua ya kutosha. If William Ruto survives to the election na ajaribu kuiba, itaungua. And that's the truth of the matter.
2027, at the tallying center at the ward level, we will have Gen Z representatives to count the votes and to announce the votes. alafu tutaungana kama Genz, kama ni Nairobi County, kuna Genz wa kule Githurai, Genz wa Kangemi, atatuambia ni ngapi na tutajua ni votes ngapi za rais zimepigwa katika Nairobi County, na tutafanya hivyo katika Kakamega County, tutafanya hivyo katika Bungoma County.
Haja na magavana, MCA, mnataka zile za rais peke yake.
Lazima rais ametuchosha bana, lazima akwende nyumbani.
One time. Sasa nini? Ground. Atuongea. Sawa.
Hivi venye nanawa hivi. Ndio nanawa Ruto. Nimenawa Ruto kabisa. Nimenawa Ruto. Ruto Kasongo nimekunawa.
My people, unaingia kuiva alafu unaletewa one time kama chesa. Mulisema hamutaki kuchelewa in anything. Well, Kenyans, you never disappoint, and this is the reason as to why I just love my country, Kenya. Munakuanga macho na munakuanga sete in anything. Anyway, Aluta, the struggle continues. We have to drain the swamps.
Ese moyo
Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto must go.
Enyewe Ruto must go. Enyewe Ruto must go. By the way, Ruto must go. Enyewe Ruto must go. Wash fire, Ruto must go. Enyewe Ruto must go. By the way, Ruto must go.